how to create a mail-enabled security group, how to create a mail-enabled distribution group, and how to create mail-enabled dynamic distribution group. Let's log into our Exchange server once again. Right, so we have created three types of groups. One is mail-enabled security group. It has an email address, marketing@sp.com. When we created distribution group, again, it has an email address, sales@sp.com. And when we create a dynamic distribution group, it also has an email address, all sales@sp.com. Now, if we come to resources, now what are resources? So resource mailboxes are mailboxes which you create for your routine communication purpose. So like for example, you have a resource as a projector. Now, how you will track the projector is with which department or with which user and which user is using that projector. So the projector owner can be the admin user, and any another user can hire that project or can request the use of that project for a specific duration of time. So that is known as a equipment mailbox. That is known as a equipment mailbox. So equipment mailbox can be like a car which is used for office purpose, a projector which is used for office purpose, or a television which is used for office purpose, a printer may be used for office purpose, which is a shared equipment. It can be requested by any user from a certain level to a certain level. In the same way, we have a room mailbox. A room mailbox is a mailbox which is which can be requested by any another user for use for specific purpose of time. For example, conference room. If we have a conference room, now let's say if you have 20 conference room, how you will keep track or how you another users will know that that conference room or conference room number one on first floor is free today or free after 3 days or free after 30 days, how they will know. So instead of uh, coming to admin and requesting or discussing that it is free on that day or not, like that, eventually you can create a room mailbox. Room mailbox is created and users can book the room mailbox on a specific time. If it is booked, another users will not be able to book. If it is available, users will be able to book. So we'll see how to create both types of mailboxes. Resource mailboxes, one is room mailbox and another is equipment mailbox. So let's create first a room mailbox. So I'm saying that room name is conference room one. Conference room one. Now alias will be the email address which will be used for booking. So I can say conf r what first for f f1. I have used conference r1 room one, conference room one, and f1. So on first floor one. OU where it will be landing. So for example, I can create another OU separately, or I can put the OU in a separate or in the existing OU. I'll say I'll put it in the HR OU. Location, so I can say first floor. We can provide phone number, we can provide capacity. So I'm, let's say, saying 20-seater. So we can select the mailbox database. So I'm selecting mailbox database 1, and let's say we'll click on save. So it is creating my conference room mailbox. So you can see it has an email address confr1f1@sp.com. Let's create one more room mailbox. We'll go to the plus icon. We'll click on room mailbox. So I'll say conference room 2. So it is on conference room 2 on first floor only. Again, I'll say HR. Location is again on first floor. I'll say capacities 10 people. Again, I'll select the database as my first database, MBDB01, and we'll click on save. So at present, we have created two conference room mailboxes, or two room mailboxes, conference room 1 and conference room 2. Now let's go through the properties of this room mailbox. So I'll select any of them and we'll go to edit option. I can see here we have a lot of options. These were not available while creating the room mailbox. The first tab is general tab. So the room mailbox name, the email address. Now email address which we gave is fixed. Now it can't be changed, but technically later on we can change it, because here we have the email address tab. Capacity 10. If we go to more options, here you can see the OU where you have placed this conference room mailbox or room mailbox, the database, alias what you have given, department you can specify, company you can specify, address policy you can assign, or you can assign any custom attributes also. You can assign custom attributes also. Now booking delegates. So what are these booking delegates? The person who's going to book the room mailbox is a delegate, right? So accept or decline booking request automatically, or select delegates who can accept or decline booking request. So let's say, for example, Krishna wants to book the room mailbox. Now here I'll add a user. So I'll select the second option. So my delegate option is enabled. Let's say I'm adding administrator, for example. I'm selecting administrator. I have added and I'll select OK. So now the request will come to the administrator. Request will come to the administrator. So it will be on hold. It will not get booked automatically. If we select the first option, accept or decline booking request automatically, then it will be in an automated mode. But in the second option, what will happen? The request will come to the administrator. Administrator will decide whether to accept or reject the request. Administrator will decide to accept the request or decline it. I can add multiple delegates who can accept or reject the request. So whosoever takes the first action, the action will be initiated. So why we need to add multiple users? So you can add a single user also, but let's say that user is on leave. That user is on leave, or they are working in shifts. So you can add multiple users. So whosoever user is available online, they will take the actions required. Now, why should we go with the second option, or why should we go with the first option? So depending upon your environment, you can go with either of the options. Second option is preferable where you have a lot of users, and depending upon the user category, what level they are holding. So let's say manager, senior manager, group manager, territory manager, country manager, right? So the more level up you go, the hierarchy of seniority increases. So depending upon the hierarchy or depending upon the seniority, you can decide, let's say at present, three requests have come to the administrator or to the delegate who is going to accept or reject the request. Now three requests have come for booking the conference room on 29th December. Now for 29th December morning 10 to 11, three requests are there. One request is from the executive level, one request is from the senior manager, one request is from the group manager. Then precisely depending upon the priority. Now group manager is organizing just a get together of the team, but senior manager is organizing target review meeting. So depending upon what priority you want to give on the first come first serve basis, or you want to give upon the subject, which subject is important, which type of meeting is going to get organized in that conference room, or you want to give the importance on the basis of the seniority. So depending upon that, you can accept or reject the or decline the request. Then we have booking options. So first is allow repeating meetings. So you can allow repeating meetings. Second, allow scheduling only during work hours. So if this option is selected, so Microsoft considers the working hours from 8 to 5 p.m. morning 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. These are the working hours. If any request comes beyond this, it will automatically get declined or it will not permit to book the room mailbox. So this option is preferable when you want to allow users that they should book from 8 to 5 only. If we uncheck this, then users can book it 24 bar 7. So let's say user forgot in the office. She went to the home at night. They realized tomorrow they have a meeting. So they can plan that at night 11:30 they are booking the room, conference room. Second, allowed always decline if the end date is beyond this limit. If end date is after 180 days, it will be automatically declined. Or if the end date is the duration of the conference room booking is more than 24 hours, then also it will get declined. So the maximum time is for a single booking, it is maximum 24 hours. Or if you want to book in advance, the maximum you can book in 180 days. So these are modifiable. It is not necessary that you should keep the defaults. So these are the default values. I can modify that it can be booked till 365 days. So around the year, any user can book at any point of time. I want to give maximum 12 hours. No meeting as per our knowledge will not go beyond 12 hours of time, a single meeting, or maybe 6 hours. So you can provide the values accordingly. At present, I'll leave the defaults. You can provide information if you want to receive organizer meeting organizer to receive a reply, enter the next below, right? So if you want that some message should be received who has requested information, you can put that message here. Then we have contact information. Let's say for example you have a common phone number for the admin, then you can provide the phone number and any other information you want, where is the located address, etc. Then email address, at present email address is already assigned. If you want to change the email address, we'll see in the user mailbox after we complete the resource mailbox views. Then we have mail tip. Again, mail tip I'll cover in the user section, user mailbox section. Then we have mailbox delegation. Now, mailbox delegation also I'll be covering in the user section. We have three types of mailboxes. So these three options I'll be covering in the user mailboxes. Let's say we have created a mailbox for Krishna, Shruti, or Trisha, right? Or eventually we have for administrator also, right? So we'll be covering these three sections over there. So we'll click save. So whatever modifications were required, I have done. Now I did only for conference 2. I have not done anything for conference room 1. So if you want to do it for conference room 1 mailbox also, then you need to do it separately or explicitly. Now let's create a equipment mailbox. So I'll give the equipment name as projector. First floor, I'll give the name as projector 1. We'll place it under HROU. We'll go to more options. Again, we can specify the database and we'll click save. Let's say we'll create one more equipment mailbox. We'll define as projector. Second floor, we'll give the name as projector 2. Again, OU will define as HR. Mailbox, we'll give the mailbox 1. I will click on save. So we have created two mailboxes, equipment mailboxes. One is projector 1 and one is projector 2. Projector 1 is available on first floor. Projector 2 is available on second floor. Now, if we go to the properties of the mailbox, if we go to the properties of the mailbox, so let's go to the properties of the mailbox. I'll select projector 2. We'll go to edit. Now, here you can see almost same information we have. Right, first of all, email address, mail tip, mailbox delegation are same, which we will be seeing in user mailboxes. First, we have general. So if we go to more options, you can see projector capacity. If you want to define, you can define the capacity, how many people at a time will be feasible to view the screen of the projector. We can, so OU we have defined, mailbox database we have defined. You can change the alias, department, company, address book policy, or any custom attributes. Booking delegates, again, the same option what we saw in the conference room mailbox. Booking options are again the same. Contact information also you can provide. So almost the properties of both the mailboxes are same, but purpose is different. Equipment mailbox is for any equipment. Let's say you have a company car, right? And you keep on providing the car to the resources for office purpose, or if you have equipment projector, a printer, a shared printer, right? They can take it and place anywhere for temporary purpose for some printing activity of the office. In the same manner, we have conference room mailboxes. Clear till now? Any doubts?
Clear, sir.
Clear, sir. No doubt.
Okay. So now look, let's go back to the mailboxes, user mailboxes. Now let's say we have user Trisha. We'll go to properties of this user. So here, if we review, we have a lot of options. First tab is general tab, then mailbox usage, contact information, organization, email address, mailbox features, member of, mail tip, and mailbox delegation. So email address, mail tip, and mailbox delegation we'll be covering in user mailbox, which we saw in the equipment mailbox or maybe room mailbox. So first tab is general information where you have the information of the user. So this all information is coming from the Active Directory. If you have defined an Active Directory, it will be auto populated. Or if you are creating the user for the first time, you can populate it here also. If you go to more options, right? So here you can see this is the email address, user logon name, require password change at next logon. Again, this is the property of Active Directory, hide from address list. If you select this option, then this user will not be available in the address book. It will be hidden. It will be available. It will be hidden. No one will be able to see it. So any user who knows the email address of Trisha only will be able to send the email to that user. Then OU, we have defined where the user is placed, mailbox database. If you want to define any custom attributes, you can define the custom attributes. If you remember, we were when we were creating dynamic distribution group, there were 15 custom attributes, right? On which basis you can define the user. So here you can click on custom attributes, and here you can see we have 15 custom attributes. You can define any custom attributes. I'll cancel it at present. Now mailbox usage. So here you will be
Customer
able to,
attribute. Okay, customer attributes means it's conditions, sir.
yeah, it is condition. So let's say if you want to define any condition, right? So here you can define any condition, and on the basis of that, you will be able to create the dynamic distribution group.
Okay, here in the same, we can give the condition on the user mailbox as well by using the customer attributes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Then we then we have mailbox usage. So at present, you can see the default size of a user is 2 GB. Mailbox size is 2 GB. If you go to more options, you can specify the, so at present it is saying use a default quota settings from the mailbox database. If I select customize the quota, what is the customize? Issue a warning at 1.9 GB. So when that space is full of till 1.9 GB, user will get a warning that that database is full. They will get a warning message. Then if that database has reached the size of 2 GB, then they will not be able to send any email. They will not be able to send any email. And when they cross 2 GB and they have reached the space of 2.3 GB, they will eventually not able to receive the mails also. They will not be able to eventually receive the mailboxes also, sorry, emails also. Now if you want to change the size from 2 GB to 5 GB or 10 GB, so that you can do with exchange management shell, that is possible. So I'll go with the default. So these were the defaults which we saw. Now use the default retention settings from the mailbox database or customize the retention settings for this mailbox. So the default is 14 days. So if any item is deleted from the mailbox, it will be there in the deleted folder for 14 days. If you want to keep longer than 14 days, you need to modify here. The default is 14 days. And you can also select don't permanently delete items until the database is backed up. So it will be deleted from the user's data deleted folder. User will not be able to see it, but eventually it will be in the exchange once the backup is taken. If you are taking backup weekly, right? So then, or let's say monthly. So once the backup is taken, then automatically that item will get pushed. Clear till now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it's clear.
Right? Then we have contact information, the generic information which can be populated from Active Directory. If you have filled in Active Directory, it will be available here, or you can fill it up here also. The same will be populated in Active Directory. Then organization. So the title, department, company, reporting manager, etc. You can define here. Again, this is part of your Active Directory. You can do the same thing over there. Now the important section is email address. At present, we have a email address for Trisha as trisha at sp.com. Trisha@sp.com. Now automatically update email addresses based on the email address policy applied to the recipient. So if you have created any email address policy, then automatically the email address will be updated here. So we will be covering email address policy tomorrow. So at present, it is showing the email address of the user is Trisha, right? Now, if we click on add, click on the plus button. So you can see it is asking what type of email address you want to add. Add SMTP, EUM, right? At present, we don't use any EUM address. We only use SMTP address. So let's add an email address, another email address for Trisha. So I'm adding trisha.k@sp.com and we'll click OK. So now here you can see the user Trisha has two email addresses, trisha@sp.com and trisha.k@sp.com. So on which email address she will receive email? Yes, who will tell me? Rajesh or Krishna?
The first one, she will receive the email address. Like
Why?
the like the first one, which is in bold letters. So it's her primary email address. So she can receive the mail.
Yes, she will receive on both mail addresses.
Okay, let's consider she will receive on both email addresses. Then from which email address she can send the email address?
Mm, from both krisha.k@sp.com as well as trisha@sp.com. From both, I guess.
She will be able to receive send email address on both.
Uh, Only the first one. Able to send from the first one, but able to receive from both.
Sure. Come
Mm.
again.
I will send and receive from both email addresses, primary and secondary.
Send and receive from both.
Yeah.
So you can send and receive from both. Yes. So and that this is from Rajesh. Update.
I guess I want to change it's only from the first, the which is in bold, not
So
from not from the
yeah.
second.
So she'll be able to send email address from the bold one, or you can see the SMTP is written capital. So from that email address, she will be able to send the email address, whereas from other on both the email addresses, she will be able to receive the email address, but she can only send email address from the primary one. So primary is listed in the bold, or alternatively, it is listed with the caps SMTP. SMTP are given in capital letters. From that email address, she'll be able to receive it. Right. So let's say I'll add another email address also, for example, trisha.kannan@sp.com, and we'll click OK. So now three email addresses are there. I'll click on save. So now user has three email addresses. So let's log in as an administrator. Let me relog in here. Okay, so we have logged in as an administrator. So let's try to send an email. Right, so trisha.k@sp.com, email one, and we'll send one more, trisha.kanan@sp.com, email two, and third email we'll just send to trisha@sp.com, mail three, and we'll send. So you can see we have sent first email to here. It is showing trisha@sp.com only. So we send this at trisha.kanan. This we send to trisha.k, and this we have sent to trisha@sp.com. Three different emails have gone. Now let's log in as Trisha. Trisha, right? Now we have logged in as Krishna. Right, so you can see she has received all the three emails from the administrator. Now let's say she replies to first email, which was sent to trisha.kanan@sp.com. So she replies to this. So reply all. Hello. Thank you for your email. Yours, Trisha. Okay. And she's reverting on that. So when she reverts on that, administrator will receive the copy of the email. Right? Let's go to inbox, Trisha. And you can see Trisha has sent an email. So if we click on here on the Trisha's icon, You can see the mail is coming from trisha@sp.com. Now let's go to our exchange. I'll go to the properties of Trisha. I will go to the email address and I'll make this as my primary email address. How we can make this primary? So I can select it. I can click on edit. Sorry, not here.
I think you need, sir. I think you need to uncheck automatically update email address.
Make this the reply email address. We'll click OK. So now you can see trisha.k has become the primary email address. Now we'll click save. Now let's go back. Administrator is replying on this email itself. Trisha, please complete your joining formalities. Regards, admin. Administrator has sent an email. Now Trisha will precisely receive it. You can see Trisha has received. Now Trisha replies to that email. Trisha replies to that email. Hello admin, have completed the signing process. Thank you, Trisha. Now Trisha has reverted back to the administrator. So let's come back to the administrator. Now Trisha has sent an email. Now if we see this, you can see now the email, send email address is trisha.k. So our primary email address got changed. We changed the primary email address, and apart from that, as that was the small SMTP, it has become the bigger SMTP. The caps SMTP has come into caps. You can see here, right? I'll change it again. I'll make this as primary and we'll click save. Now the email address again has become primary. Let's go to the properties again. Now we saw general mailbox usage, contact information, organization, email address. Now let's come to member of. So member of means this user is part of or member of which groups. That information will be available here. Again, this information can be populated from Active Directory also. Then we have mail tip. Mail tip is an information which will be user able to see. So let's say we are considering Trisha as a senior user. So we can write this user is, or you're sending an email to vice president. Vice president of the company, for example, and we'll click save. Now, when administrator sending an email to Trisha, eventually any user sending an email address to Trisha. So let's say we'll say new and we'll say Trisha, right? So trisha@sp.com. So still it is not populated. Discard it. Let's refresh it. So you can see once I press tab, so the cursor came at the subject. So it is saying Trisha K, you're sending an email to vice president of the company. So this is known as mail tip. So mail tip is generally useful when you want to populate any information to the user. so that the user should know what or to whom the user sending an email, or what kind of action the user is taking. For example, we can assign a mail tip to the room mailbox. We can define that you are booking a conference room on the first floor in tower number 4 building. I'm just giving an example. Right, so this mail tip is useful when you want to populate some information to the user, so that user should be aware before sending an email on that email address. Right, so at present we'll discard it. Mail tip is available. Then we'll come back to the properties of the user. Mailbox delegation we'll talk tomorrow. We'll come to mailbox features. So in the mailbox features, we have a lot of things. So we have sharing policy, role assignment policy, retention policy, address book policy. Sharing policy and role assignment policy is already defined, the default policy, and retention policy and address book policy is not defined. Eventually, we can define the default mailbox retention policy, and we can define the address book policy also. At present, there is no address book policy. We can create and then we can define. And eventually, these all policies can be defined separately for each user. Let's say I have 4 policies. I can define uh, policy for Trisha separately, for Shruti separately, etc. Apart from that, we can define mobile devices, so we can disable Exchange Active Sync, disable Outlook web access for devices. And if I click on view details, at present, no mobile devices are detected for this user. So if I want that the user should not be able to access Outlook web access on mobile or Exchange Active Sync, then I can disable these services. By default, it are enabled. Here it is showing disabled. That means it is enabled. Email connectivity. So Outlook on the web is enabled. So that's why we are able to access Outlook on the web. This is Outlook on the web, right? That is Outlook on the web. Then IMAP is enabled, POP3 is enabled, MAPI is enabled. MAPI is used when you want to access your Exchange email services through Microsoft Outlook, and POP3 and IMAP are accessed when you have a third-party client like Outlook. For example, Mozilla Thunderbird, it is an email client as we have Microsoft Outlook. So if you want to access through IMAP or through POP3, so then you can access. So now what is the difference between IMAP and POP3? IMAP will not cache your information on the local machine. It will cache only when you have internet connectivity. So you should have direct connectivity. So eventually, if you are in offline mode, you have no connectivity on your machine. So in that case, IMAP will not show any content. You need to be in the LAN if you have on-prem Exchange server, or if you need to be WAN if your Exchange server is in another location. For POP3, it will download a copy of the email on the local machine itself. It will create a local database in the PST format, and it will keep all the mails, copy of the all the mails in the PST file itself. So that is a difference. So port number for IMAP is 143 and for POP3 is 110. Then litigation hold is disabled, we can enable it, and archiving is disabled, we can enable it. So we'll talk about litigation hold and archiving hold after we have completed policies. Now, mail flow, message size restrictions, and message deliver restrictions we'll talk tomorrow. So at present, I'll click just save, and we will keep exchange stuff till here only for today. Meanwhile, I'll open the window for doubts. Yes, any doubt for today?
Oh, nothing from my side, sir.
No doubts from my side.
Okay, so we'll conclude the